Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg thinks what the world is missing is him. So Michael Bloomberg looks at Bernie Sanders surging in the polls. Bernie is now within shooting distance in Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, California, behind in South Carolina, where Joe Biden looks pretty good. And Michael Bloomberg says, oh no, we can't allow this Medicare for all. And frankly, I think he sees that Joe Biden is a walking Titanic. So Michael Bloomberg is now deciding to get into the race. Of course, there is zero appetite for Michael Bloomberg in this race. There's not a portion of America clamoring for Michael Bloomberg to get into this race. But a plutocrat's going to be a plutocrat. And Michael Bloomberg, he must get into this race. And apparently, Chuck Todd and the other elitist on cable news, apparently they think that there's some silent majority out there that's clamoring for Michael Bloomberg. Let's take a look. This will give you a chuckle. Let's take a look at Chuck Todd.
Who's to his left?
Well, Beto was to his left on guns, but he's not going to be a factor any longer.
Right? I mean, so...
Also the governor of
you can make an argument that
Bloomberg has embraced the Green New...
I don't think he's embraced that. I agree.
So that's one area where he actually is more to the center than she is.
You know, in the smoke-filled room, you'd say, on paper, Bloomberg has the right balance of what you want to win a broad election. Maybe not a deep election, but if you're trying to win the ex-suburban Republican, which, by the way, Michael Bloomberg's an ex-suburban, arguably an ex-urban Republican, and at the same time, you care about these core progressive issues like guns and climate, it ain't just somebody buying an election.
I'm trying to think of Michael Bloomberg as the nominee in Western Pennsylvania.
I know what you're thinking.
The suburbs of Michigan, the Michigan suburbs, the Ohio suburbs, the Wisconsin suburbs.
By the way, there's only one running mate for him.
Huh?
It's the same running mate Joe Biden has to pick, and it's the same running mate Pete Buttigieg has to pick. It's Stacey Abrams, by the way. There's nobody else that Bloomberg can match up with if someone got this nomination than Stacey Abrams.
Why?
Yes. I think he has to have a person of color.
Huh?
I think he needs a diversity on the ticket, person of color, no?
I don't know what he would need. I'm just trying to think of Bloomberg selling nationally in the nitty-gritty of the key swing places. Maybe he can.
Look, I didn't think
New York mayor.
But I didn't think New York City.
Right.
But I thought that was a problem for Trump. Like, I think we all thought New York City doesn't sell in America, and yet what were the two nominees?
Well, Trump was the candidate from The Apprentice. He wasn't the candidate from New York.
I just think the New York
And the guy that talks their language, which Michael Bloomberg doesn't.
Right.
Wow. I don't know what part of that. I don't know what part of that was worse. The fact that Chuck Todd is pushing Michael Bloomberg, or the fact that Chuck Todd just casually was like, yeah, just throw with a black woman. That'll do him good. Just throw the black woman on the ticket with him. Michael Bloomberg and a black woman, that's the ticket. I'm not saying anything against Stacey Abrams. I mean, I don't think she's a capital P progressive, but I think she's a dynamic woman, and I think she did a great job and had the election stolen from her in Georgia. But how ridiculous and insulting for Chuck Todd to just be like, wow, automatic, Stacey Abrams. You put Stacey Abrams with Michael Bloomberg. Look out, America. And it's like he's working for Bloomberg. That's how I took it. And the funniest thing is he's like, oh, you have Michael Bloomberg on these two core progressive issues, guns and climate. What do you think? There's not enough strong progressives on gun and climate? Bernie Sanders currently is polling number one in who will best handle the climate crisis. Number one. Of course, guns is an important issue, but Bernie's calling for an assault weapons ban. I mean, he's calling for very progressive issues. Warren, too. And by the way, Chuck Todd, guns and climate change is not the top progressive issue. Healthcare is the top progressive issue. You're a pretty crappy political analyst if you don't know that. But this is the insanity of the journalism industry we have. You literally have elitist pigs who make gobbles and gobbles of money. I mean, Chuck Todd is making millions of dollars a year to be that elitist and stupid. And they are framing the discussion on who is electable and who is not. There is no audience at all. There is no demographic at all. There is no clamoring for Michael Bloomberg. The only clamoring for Michael Bloomberg is people like Chuck Todd. But I'll tell you what, it's going to help Bernie Sanders if Michael Bloomberg gets into the race. The more billionaires, the better. Because Michael Bloomberg needs to explain how his policies as New York City mayor, from stop and frisk, from tax cuts for billionaires, corporations, how his policy prescriptions for America is going to end this new Gilded Age we live in. Yeah, he might have thrown a lot of money towards gun control and the climate crisis, and that's great. Even some billionaires do the right thing. But that doesn't mean he has any business being in a Democratic presidential race. His thinking is exactly the sickness we have in America. That if we just had more investment from billionaires, we'd just be better. Oh, income inequality? Yeah, we could throw a couple things. That'll fix that around the edges. He doesn't see a problem with income inequality. He thrives because of income inequality. And that's why Michael Bloomberg is trying to get into this race. That's why Wall Street is scared. Wall Street is scared out of their damn minds. And I love this notion that, you're seeing all these articles. It's almost like Elizabeth Warren's campaign is planting with like CNBC and Politico these stories to make it seem like Wall Street is most scared of Elizabeth Warren. Wall Street is so scared of Elizabeth Warren, who's going around the country having hot tea with the Democratic Party establishment. Elizabeth Warren, who's been on every single side of the fence on whether she's going to take big money in the general or she's not. I'm not going to take it during the primary, but I'm going to take big money during the general. Wait, I'm not going to take big money during the general. Wait, I won't personally take big money during the general, but I will raise money for the DNC in the general, which will come to me anyway. Like, who the heck knows? Who could follow with Elizabeth Warren? Every day is different. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.